bread. This is very easy. All you need for this recipe is some sugar, some yeast. I use quick rise yeast. You can buy it in the packets as well. You need 2 cups of warm water. You need some salt, and you need 1/4 cup of oil, and you need 4 to 5 cups of all-purpose flour. First thing we're going to do is you're going to take some warm water just out of the tap. When you're running the water in your tap, just leave your finger underneath, and if it's slightly warmer than your body temperature, that's perfect. So it's still good. And then you're going to need 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. Don't put your finger in this, okay?
It's very hot.
Yep. And in my 1/2 cup of sugar, I'm just going to take a tablespoon of that out, and I'm going to sprinkle it on top of my yeast. I'm going to stir that up. Leave this set for a little bit until the yeast activates. That would be 4 to 5 minutes. Abby, don't put that in your mouth, please.
It's sugar.
No, it's not. It's yeast.
Oh.
So I'm going to leave that aside for now, and I'm going to show you what to put in your bowl. In your bowl, you're going to put your flour, which is, we're going to put in 3 cups of flour. 1,
It's sugar.
2, 3 cups of flour. We're going to put in our salt, which is 1.5 teaspoons. Very generous with your salt. You want to be able to taste that in your bread. You want to do this? Put it in. Here. Great job! Okay. Now we're going to put in our sugar. Great job, Abby! Okay, mix her up with your fork. Can you mix this? Don't eat it. Unmix it. There. So, that's just your flour mixture. It's going to look like this. We're going to dig a little well in the center, which means just a little hole. Just leave the hole like this. So, my yeast is ready, and I can tell because it's very puffy, and yeah, it's puffy. It's rose a little bit. So now I'm going to pour that inside of my bowl. Watch your fingers. I'm going to take my fork. I'm going to give that a good old stir until it's completely combined. Don't lick that, that's yucky. I'm going to put in my oil.
I don't want the oil.
You don't want the oil?
I want the oil.
You want the oil? So this is what it's going to look like. I'm mixing it with a fork because right now it's too tacky and too sticky to mix. To knead, I'm going to add 1 more cup of flour. This is the 4th cup. This is where we get sticky. We're going to start to knead this dough in our bowl. Just like this. Abigail, you're making a mess. Abby! You're not going to help me knead it. So once your dough is like this, and it starts calm down. When it's not sticking to your hands, you can now take it out, empty all the flour to your bowl, and you're going to knead that together on a floured surface. So this is how you knead. This is how I knead. I pull the back up, and I press it down with the bottom of my hand, and I turn it, and I press. I turn it, and I press. That's how I knead. Okay, so I'm back. I kneaded this for about 2 minutes, nothing major. And I only used 4 cups of flour for this. And I know that it's perfect because it's not tough. When I touch it, it bounces back just like this. Oh, that's the perfect bread dough. So in my bowl that I used, I just cleaned it out really good, like with my hands. And I have a little bit of oil. I'm just gonna take a little bit of it and just kind of oil the sides of my bowl, just so my dough doesn't stick, you know? Plop that in there. Cover it with some plastic wrap. You must cover it with plastic wrap or a Sobeys bag or something because it needs to be draft free. I'm going to cover it with a towel. My favorite place to put it is in the oven with the oven turned off. Don't turn your oven on. I just put it in there with the light on and it's it's draft free. There's no drafts, there's no cool air. That's the perfect place for it to rise. It's gonna rise for about an hour and a half until it's doubled in size. And I'll show you what it looks like when we get there. So we're back with our bread dough. It has risen and it rose double the size. It's just perfect. So we're just gonna flatten it, which is called punching it down. We're gonna take it out of our bowl on a lightly floured surface. Just like so. Put it in the garbage. Yep. So I'm just gonna knead it up really quick, just so it's in a ball. Now this makes 2 loaves of bread. So I'm gonna cut this in half.
I'm gonna cut in half too.
Okay, I'm gonna show you where, okay? Push this down right in the middle. Push. Oh, great. So I've cut my bread dough in half. I'm gonna make 1 loaf with one side, and the other side we're gonna make some buns. So Abigail, I'm gonna add a little bit of margarine. I'm just gonna put a little bit of margarine on my table or my island. Don't eat that, please. That's not good for you. That's raw. Don't eat that.
That's raw? Yeah, that's raw.
So I'm going to knead this into a loaf. A loaf should be long.
Very thick.
Kind of like this.
Like this?
That's what it's going to look like. I've greased my bread pan. I only bought a cheap one from the dollar store. That's all I'm using today. So you put it inside your bread pan. Now for the buns. I'm gonna cut them. I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna try to divide it as much as I can into even pieces. Now we're gonna take a little bit of margarine with your hand. Put it on your table. On your table, like this. Like this. Okay, now take your bun. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take your bun and you're just gonna fold all your edges inward, just like this.
Just like this.
And then you're gonna notice it's gonna come into a perfect little ball. That was your perfect little bun. So I also have here a 9x13 pan, and I lined it with margarine as well. You're patting it. Wow.
You roll it, please.
You want me to roll them? Okay.
Unroll this one.
Now that our buns are already rolled and they're put into our pan, and so is our bread, you have to put this on the back of your stove or wherever you want to put it where there's no draft, and you're going to put a clean dish towel on top, just like this. Here, you put it on top. Cover it like this. Oh, just like a blankie. There, now we're gonna leave that sit for about an hour or until they're doubled in size, and then you're gonna stick them in the oven at 375 degrees. So now that my bread is cooled and my buns are cooled, I just wanted to cut into my bread and show you guys what it looks like on the inside. So that's what my bread looks like. It's very soft, fluffy.